Our core mission at TA Targets is equipping normal people, normal citizens, with high quality steel target and paper target systems and components so that they can become better prepared to protect life. And that's something we've talked about a ton, and if you followed us for any amount of time, you've definitely heard us say that. But as we started talking, and let's take a walk down here, I want to show you something at this table. Our team started discussing the experience that new shooters have with unpacking their first new firearm. Something that happens a lot at our shop is we purchase or get sent firearms for use in our content and stuff that we just want to implement into our content so that we can provide you with better information. So that's what we have here in the box. So as we discussed and started planning with our team, we thought there would be value in us creating a series that would dive into unpacking brand new firearms direct from the box and then getting out to the range and giving you tips and tricks on how you can get on the range and start shooting with purpose so that you can learn your firearm better, and then that's ultimately going to make you better prepared with that firearm. The series is called Box to Bullseyes. Guys, we're excited to be bringing it to you, and we hope you find value and good information out of it. Let's dive into it. We want to introduce you guys to our newest toy, and this was sent to us from IWI, so we're super thankful for them for doing this to get this into content and give our feedback on it. This is a Galil Ace pistol. What's unique about this is it is chambered in 5.45 by 39, which is a very unique caliber and one we're excited to start playing with. But before we dive into some drills and some how-tos and some tips on unboxing a gun like this and hitting the range, I just thought it was important to pull it out of the box and show you what we're going to be working with. So today we're working with a bone stock Galil Ace. I haven't even dry fired this gun. We're going to run it with iron sights, no optics, nothing like that. Just the standard flash hider and brace and trigger that comes with this thing out of the box. Some of the stuff that does get included with this Galil Ace is obviously a gun lock. You get that with every single firearm you ever purchase. They do have a 30-round magazine as well, a PMag, and it looks like a adjustment tool for the gun as well. So that's included in the box. I did go out and purchase a bunch of magazines. Everything is preloaded because we're gonna get right into this. Behind me, I have some cardboard targets set up, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of what I'm gonna try to do. So because I've never fired this gun before, I'm not familiar with the trigger, I'm not familiar with the mechanics. I do have another Galil, but it's been about a year since I've shot it. So this is going to be a learning experience for me on this platform. I don't understand the recoil impulse of 5.45 by 39 because I've never shot it. So what we're going to do is start slow on cardboard, and we're going to do a couple drills that are going to work very basic fundamentals at about 50% speed, and then we're going to gain our speed a little bit more and work on other fundamentals. So without further ado, I think we load this thing up. I'll get my ear pro on, and we're going to head over here to 7 yards, and we're just going to do some basic drills. And as I shoot, I'm going to talk you through it and explain the reasoning behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And hopefully this gives you some information. It helps you when you're unboxing a new firearm and hitting the range for the first time. Okay guys, so we're at 7 yards right now. I am just going to take my shot timer, and on the cue, I'm just going to present out and put one shot on the A zone. So just ready up drills here. Presentation drills. We're going to discuss times and where my hits are, and again we're going to start at about 50% speed because I am unfamiliar with this platform. All right, we're going to do this from a low ready. .93. Let's do that again. That was a .70. One more time from low ready. All right, let's do it one more time high ready. That was a .74. .97. Speed it up. .88. Let's try to go really fast now. I did throw that into the C zone. All right, let's walk down range and just look at these. So already I can tell you that with this 5.45, recoil is not an issue. But working those iron sights was very difficult for me, and I did throw 2 of the shots into the C zone. That's a borderline A zone. And that is low in the C zone. So now what I want to do is work a couple different drills here where I'm putting 3 rounds into the A zone, and that's going to help with my consistency, and I'm going to check my sight acquisition and recoil management. Like I said, it's a little difficult with the iron sights. It's definitely not as fast as a red dot, but we're going to track that on paper and see what that looks like. All right, we're going to do this from the low ready first. Okay, now, that was a 1.56, 3 rounds. I'm checking my consistency here. I want to make sure that my splits are consistent, and I also want to be making my rounds in that A zone. So we're not trying to go for speed here. What I'm trying to do is present my gun, work my trigger press. I'm making sure I'm not slapping my trigger. I'm not anticipating. Just a clean break every single time. And what that means is I'm coming to the wall of the trigger, breaking the shot. And in between every different round, I'm doing the same thing. So let me show you that real quick. So what that means is on this trigger, it's kind of like a 2-stage. You can kind of see there's a wall, and then it breaks. In between each shot, I want to get back on the wall before I break the trigger. I don't really want to be slapping through that. So I'm trying to work on that trigger press, make sure that I'm consistent the whole time while getting my splits and maintaining cadence. And again, we're not running at 100% speed. These are the first times you're getting out on the range. We want to make sure we're getting our accuracy and our hits before we get up to speed. Let's do that one more time. We're going to do it from a high ready. All right, now let's go up to the head box. That was a 1.67. Not bad. They're all in the A zone. Now we're going to do the same thing, 3 rounds in the head zone. Do it from low ready. That was a 2.20, and we're going to do it from the high ready. That was a 2.18, so that was actually a little bit faster from my high ready. So I'm a little bit clumsy with this again, because with iron sights, for new shooters, iron sights you need to line up the back sight with the front sight. And on the Galil Ace, it's just a little peep sight. So you're lining up that front post in the center of that circle. Far from a precision instrument or sighting mechanism. But the other thing that I wanted to show you is that iron sights are fine. And if it is all you have, and say in this situation with our ammo crisis and optics and everything's out of stock pretty much, you may have to buy a gun and just run it with iron sights. So don't be discouraged if that's what you have. It just means you have to put your time in on the range. You definitely have to practice a lot. So let's go down range and we're going to check out those hits. So we landed all of those strings in the A zone. And this is my group from high and low ready at 7 yards on that A zone box. So overall, I'm not disappointed at all in that for my first rounds down range. I definitely know that there's work to be done, but surprisingly, I did pretty well. So let's go on over here. We're gonna do another set of drills. I have 2 different drills from T-Rex Arms, and what I'm gonna do with these different drills is the bottom one is cadence circles, so we're only gonna do this a couple times. But what cadence means is we're trying to track our splits between shots. I don't really want to see shots that are 0.2, 0.34, 0.4. We want to be like 0.3, 0.34, 0.32. We want those splits to be very consistent. And a drill like this is going to help gauge that and track that. So I'm probably going to do 5-round volleys on this in these circles. We're going to check for hits. And then we're also going to just look at our splits and our times as long as my shot timer picks it up okay. And we're going to discuss that as well. What I'm going to do is start slow on the first set of circles. We don't want to go full speed here. As I get comfortable with this, I get my sight picture, I know I'm getting my hits, and my groups are pretty tight, then let's start increasing the speed. And I'm gonna increase that speed to the point where I have a failure, which means I start throwing rounds outside of the circle. And we're gonna see where that point is. So let's go back to 7 yards, and I'm actually gonna grab an extra magazine real quick. We got some of the big 40 round sticks. I don't know if they'll run right, but let's try it. Okay, so again, we're gonna be doing cadence. I'm gonna do 5 round strings of fire. We'll start from the low ready on the first circle. We'll do about 50% speed. All right, so 2 of them went low. So that's probably my height over bore. And what that means is I need to actually put my sights above where my impact is. And that is because of my distance. Because I'm at 7 yards, you can tell from the front sight post to the center of the bore, there is a height difference. And you have to take that into account when you are at this distance. So let's do that again. We're gonna do it 50% speed again. I'm gonna shoot the circle to the right on the top. That was a 2.86, by the way. All right, low ready? Okay, all 5 of those are in the circle at a 3.24. So I'm gonna do it again. We're gonna try 50% speed, and we're gonna see what that time looks like. If I get all my hits, we're gonna speed it up a little bit. All right, so we had a reload in there. Definitely different than reloading an AR-15. You really got to lock that magazine in there. But we'll talk about that, and we'll do some reload drills in a second. So let's do that one more time since that had the reload in. That was 8.69 with the reload. Low ready? All right, that was a 2.62, but I did throw 2 shots out. We'll do it one more time at a slower speed, try to get all my hits, and then the last circle we're gonna run really fast. All right, 2.94. I did throw a couple shots out. We'll try to run this last one really quick. That was a 1.89. Let's go check this out. So my last one was a 1.89, and I did just have 1 flyer. The rest landed in there. So again, that's not bad, considering I have no time on this platform for about a year since I shot a Galil. I'm not unhappy with that at all. The next thing I want to do real quick, we'll do it one time. This is a very similar drill. What we have are different size circles, and you put 5 rounds per circle. I have them numbered. So I'm gonna go 5 rounds in number 1, then 5 rounds in number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the reason that they are bigger or smaller circles is the smaller ones, you really gotta speed that, you gotta throttle down, and your speed should actually decrease. When we get to these bigger circles, I have a bigger target, so I should be able to ramp that speed up. So we're gonna actually replace this magazine with a brand new one. Just keep it in my back pocket. And we're gonna do that drill one time through. I'm not necessarily worried about my time. What I am gonna be paying attention to is, did I slow down for the smaller circles? Did I speed up for the bigger circles? So let's do this. 5 rounds in each circle. We'll do it from high ready. All right, let's go down range. We did have 1 malfunction. So not very good. all of my shots that I think I was aiming here, somehow I pulled low. Up here, my group isn't bad, but again, that height over bore was probably the problem. In this circle, I really sped up. I don't see the 5th round. It may be this one here. Might have been part of that group. And that's 2 rounds right there. So evidently, one thing that I really need to learn with this gun that I'm really failing at right now is that height over bore. And it may be an instant where I need to actually zero this thing and put these iron sights on paper. I didn't do that at all. So what I'm gonna do real quick, because I'm having this issue, is I'm gonna back up to 7 yards again, and we're gonna actually put 5 rounds and try to land them in this circle. And there's no time limit. I'm not gonna use the buzzer or anything. I just wanna figure out where my holdover is to get those rounds in that small circle. So we'll go back here to 7 yards. And I think I did switch ammo as well. Yes, I did. So that's the other thing too, is I don't know if this thing likes certain ammo. We did have that one malfunction. All right, so again, no time here. I'm just gonna put rounds in that circle so I can learn this pistol. All right, so let's go down here real quick one more time. So there was that group, and I'm still a little bit low, but that's a lot better. Now, I actually had the front post up here around the 5. So to land those shots here, evidently, I would have actually had to aim up here to drop those shots down into there. So that's something that as you get out on the range the first time you're shooting your gun, it can actually be extremely frustrating. If you're a new shooter and you haven't been around firearms, you may be thinking, oh, I suck. I'm just doing so terrible. And it's super easy to get on Instagram and watch guys that just run and gun who have put 5-10 years of time into learning how to shoot. And you see them doing that, and then you might get super frustrated. So again, this is real world here. This is what it's like to get this gun out of the box and shoot it for the first time. You have to learn the platforms that you're training with. So now one of the other principles I would like to work on, I'd like to do some 1R1 drills. So I'm gonna go back and grab 2 standard magazines, and we're gonna do some of those 1R1 drills, because the mechanics of an AK variant like this are gonna be totally different than an AR-15. And as you know from our content, we almost exclusively shoot AR-15s. So let's go back, get ready for some 1R1s. One of the misconceptions that people have in the firearms world is that you have to have all kinds of crazy Gucci gear to be able to get out and effectively train. Well, I can be the first to tell you that for an AK variant or AK style mags, like these AK-74 mags, I have no mag carriers. I don't have a belt for this. So as we're doing reloads, I'm gonna be reloading from my pocket. But the misconception is that you need to have all this fancy stuff, and that's just simply not true. What you need to do when you're unboxing your gun and hitting the range for the first time is really learning the trigger, how you're presenting it, the controls like the safety, bolt catch if there is one. There is not one on this gun. But all of those little details about the gun, that's what we're focused on first. So I don't really care if I'm not blazing with these drills. I don't care if I'm going slow. I don't even care that I'm missing. The thing that I'm trying to do is learn this gun. And also, don't fool yourself into thinking that just going out one time on the range is going to be enough and then you're going to be proficient with the gun. This is a process, and it's something you have to be committed to in order to get good at it. So what we're going to do here at 7 yards, we're going to do some reload drills. And last year I did kind of figure out a way to reload a Galil, and I'm going to go really slow and just practice that. This isn't necessarily to teach you how to reload a Galil, but again, with a new gun, you've got to learn the manual of arms for that gun, and that's what I'm going to do right here. So let's just load that up. Again, I've got a magazine in my back pocket. Now we're just going to go probably 50% speed. We're going to put a round into the A zone, reload it. Now, because this has no bolt catch, I need to not just automatically reload it. I'm actually going to fire, click on an empty chamber, because that's how this would happen organically as I'm shooting, simulating that my guns run dry, then I reload. And it's really hard to get through that process with a gun like this where you know you only have one round. So I also would not recommend that you just do exclusively 1R1 drills, because they can inhibit you if you don't expand on them and then start implementing them into your regular training by coming up on, you know, reloads that surprise you that you aren't planning for. So let's do this real quick. That's just some stuff to keep in mind. We'll do this from a low ready. All right, that was a 6.12. Wow, that was so slow. All right. And to be honest, I said I was gonna try 50% speed. I really fumbled bad through that. So let's do that again. We're gonna really slow down. I'm gonna try to be really precise with my movements. So from the low ready again. That was a 5.23, and I actually did exactly what I warned you about there, where I only fired one time because I knew I only had one round. So that's kind of simulating attack reload. I need to fire, gun goes empty, fire again on an empty chamber, and then I'm going to reload. We'll do it from high ready. All right, I did it again. Even though I talked through it and explained it to you guys, I still had that. So let's do it one more time from a high ready. That was 4.93. All right, there was a 4.97. Let's do it one more time from a high ready. All right, so what I'm actually showing you here is a perfect example of why it is so important to learn all the different details about your gun. So I'm totally used to an AR-15 where you just shove the mag in. You can physically feel when it goes empty. With this gun, it's not the same. It doesn't lock back to the rear. There's no change in the action. There's no signal telling you, hey, you're empty, reload. Then when you go to reload, you really got to rock those magazines in place. So that was a 7.28, it looks like. Let's do it one more time from a low ready. I'm going to try to go really fast and see how we get those reloads down. And then what I want to do is incorporate some of our steel targets and move a little bit and just give you a basic idea of how you can incorporate all of this stuff into some steel targets and training efficiently. So let's do it one more time. Do it from a low ready. All right, let's go down and check those hits. Definitely a lot to work on with this gun. So my hits were in the A zone, except one on the edge here. But other than that, all my hits were good. Back when I first started shooting, having fumbles like I just did with this gun, not doing what I would say would be good, you know, comparing myself to other people and other shooters that I saw, it would kind of be depressing, I'm not gonna lie. But what I've learned over the years is you can't expect to pull a gun out of the box and just go blazing fast with it. So I have a lot to work on with this gun. I've got a lot of fundamentals I need to work on, and I'm excited to get an optic on it and start doing all of that and really learning this platform again. There was a time that I was pretty quick with a Galil, but I've been spending the last year with AR-15s, got used to the manual of arms for those, and so now I'm kind of back at square one with the Galil. But what I want to do for you guys now We shot a bunch of paper. Paper is fantastic as you're working your fundamentals. These are, again, just cardboard targets you can get on our website. They're gonna help you be 100% accountable. So after we get into cardboard, after we get into paper, I like to incorporate steel targets. They're just fun. They actually can help you train more efficiently because you have immediate audible feedback every time you make a successful hit. So now, what we're gonna do is we have a mini ADAP target over here on my left. We have a C-zone target in the middle, and we have a mini ADAP target downrange as well. So we're gonna be shooting at about 25, 30 yards with this caliber. And what I'm gonna do is start over here, and I'm just gonna go right into this drill. We're gonna put 2 rounds on the mini ADAP over here. One of the other things that I wanna work on as I'm moving from this barrel to that barrel, I wanna put 2 or 3 rounds on the C-zone target that I have downrange as well. So now we're working on a smaller target. We gotta really throttle down and make our hits because it's downrange at a decent distance. On the C-zone, as I'm moving, I have to maintain my sight picture, be very steady with my movements, and then as we get to the barrels, I have another small target downrange where I really got to throttle down. So we're kind of combining all of that together, and what I would recommend is if you're kind of doing what I'm doing right now, you're kind of experiencing that frustration, and maybe you're not hitting the levels that you're expecting yourself to or that you want to do, focus on those fundamentals before you start getting into moving, shooting, or very complex drills, because that can further frustrate you instead of helping you grow. But I want to show this to you so you guys have an idea of what you can do with your new gun. So again, we're going to start this drill right now. We're going to do it from a low ready. Not bad, let's go talk about it. So there you guys have it. That was my first experience with one of 545 of IWI's Galil Ace pistols chambered in 5.45 by 39. And I just want to say thanks again to IWI. They're good friends of our company and us, and we really appreciate those guys for sending this out. We love working with them. They make a phenomenal product. And as you saw, it wasn't necessarily the prettiest range day that I've ever had. Some days I get out here with my AR-15s and I just rock it, and I have a great time, and I'm making my hits. I'm doing good splits. I was fumbling reloads out here. I was struggling with the mechanics of this firearm a little bit. Just everything about it is different than an AR-15, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I love my Galil chambered in 7.62 by 39, and I know I'm gonna love this pistol as well. And besides that one malfunction, we didn't have any issues. Now, I do want to preface that with saying that this isn't a full review of this gun. I'm going to be doing a full review over on my personal YouTube channel, which is Keystone Carry. So if you're into that kind of thing and you really want to see me diving deep into this gun and putting a couple thousand rounds through it, check out that channel because that's going to be coming in the very near future. But what I want to encourage you guys with is get that gun out of the box and don't just stick it in your safe. A lot of folks will go out and buy a handgun, they'll go out and buy a rifle, and it just kind of is safe queen, and I'm not judging anybody because that was me for a long time. But what I realized is guns that aren't shot are much less useful in your hands. I mean, if you don't have the experience on the range, you haven't figured out your deficiencies, how can you truly know if you're gonna be able to protect those you love with the gun that you have? And that's ultimately what we're trying to do here, is become better prepared to protect people. And if we're going to take on that responsibility and take on the title of protector, we need to be willing to go the extra mile with our firearms to become as well trained as we possibly can. We throw around the phrase training to higher standards a lot, and you hear a lot of other people in the industry saying that as well. And that just simply means pushing your standards, looking at your baseline times and figuring out what is your foundation. Figure that out, get a shot timer, do a bunch of dry fire, put rounds on paper, put rounds on steel, figure out where you need to grow, and then learn and push forward. I love making fast-paced running gun stuff, but this is the authentic 100% behind the scenes of my first shots through this Galil Ace pistol. And besides fumbling with some reloads and figuring out how to get the magazine in properly, which I'm still figuring out, I had a good time with this gun, and I'm really excited to continue training with it because it's a little bit different than an AR-15 and the things that I'm used to. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Hopefully you found it enjoyable. If you're on YouTube, IGTV, leave a comment below and let us know what you think. And definitely stay tuned and subscribe over on Keystone Carry for the full product review of this pistol. We appreciate you guys, and we hope you tune into our upcoming episodes of this series. We're gonna unbox some more firearms, get out on the range, and run them straight out of the box. See you next time.